Welcome to the Tom's River Show. Pat O'Melia here. You there? I'm trying to press that button for the timer. My timer is not working. There it goes. We do the show because you're a concerned resident of Tom's River, and we want to keep you informed, entertained, maybe laugh a little bit. You never know. Baseball starts this week. Finally, we're getting away from the winter, even though it's going to have a little chilly at the end of this week. But the weekend, when you're watching this on Saturday, we should be somewhere in the 50s. We're going to end the show today. We're going to talk about some weekend event on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights. You got the Yankees and the Mets are back this week. I know some of you down here will watch the Phillies. Why? I don't know. I'm a Yankee fan myself, and I do enjoy watching the Mets lose, but I can support the Mets too. I'm not just strictly a Yankee guy. I like to see the New York teams do well. Speaking of the boardwalks, in Seaside Heights this past week, they passed an ordinance that is banning dogs from the boardwalk, supposedly because dog owners weren't picking up after the dogs. Now, I've been on that boardwalk quite a bit. My wife is on the boardwalk all the time. She's down here in Seaside, escaping the COVID from Jersey City. I've probably never seen any dog droppings on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights, nor as my wife. I don't know what this is all about. You know, you're so allowed to have your dog on there until 11 a.m., then the dogs were off, but for whatever reason, there are no dogs anymore. I think the owner's now picking up after the dogs, was kind of trumping that up a bit. Our topics for today is the blue line that somebody painted on Hooper Avenue in Tom's River. We're going to talk about COVID-19 a year later and summer school programs. Shop, buy, and dine local. I did a lot of that in the last week. And we're going to do some quick hits. Laurie Ulrich, Easter egg hunts, all that kind of thing. We're going to be back. You're watching the Tom's River Show. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Stevens Jersey City Ford, located right off of NJ 440 North. Across the Hudson Mall is your one stop for all your automotive needs. Check out Ford's latest models like the 2020 Ford Fusion with its stylish looks and hybrid options, or the unparalleled high-performance 2020 Ford Mustang. The 2020 Ford F-150 Raptor is ready for those rugged off-road terrains with trail control. Need a mid-sized truck for your towing and hauling? The 2020 Ford Ranger will deliver. The 2020 Ford Escape is a luxury SUV that was made for comfort and adventure on the go. Returning is Ford's legendary Bronco, which takes you back to the true meaning of off-roading. They are now available for pre-order in our showroom or on our website. Let us help you find your next vehicle. Stevens Jersey City Ford, 201-432-7272.
Cutting-edge surgical care is right here in Secaucus.
Robotic surgery is safer.
Shorter hospital stays.
Smaller abdominal incisions, the size of an M&M. Here at Hudson Regional, we provide world-class robotic surgical care.
We're back. Me and this timer do not get along in this studio. Tom's River Show, Pat O'Melia here, you there. Remember everything on the bottom of the screen there. Get in touch with us. You got any show ideas? You got some consumer issues. We're pretty good with the consumer issues. We may have one coming up pretty soon with a car dealership here on Route 37. See if they do some warranty work. For that matter, later in the show, I did quite a bit of car repairs on Route 37 this last 2 weeks. I'm doing this thing, shop, buy, and dine, and I've done quite a bit of it. But let's get back to the Blue Line on Hooper Avenue. I guess about 2 weeks ago, Sheriff Mastronardi requested a blue line be painted between the two solid yellow lines on Hooper Avenue to celebrate our local law enforcement. Nothing wrong with that. We all respect and we should celebrate our local law enforcement. I know right now there's a trial going on concerning law enforcement, but a very low minority of police officers that cross the line. For the most part, they're our first line of defense. They're all great guys and gals who uphold our law, and our country is a land of laws. And we don't have laws, we don't have a democracy. And we are fortunate here in New Jersey to have some of the best law enforcement that you can have. I've been saying that for years with my police force in Jersey City, and I think the Toms River is also a pretty damn good police department. Well, Mastronardi's request was denied by the Ocean County Commissioners. Commissioner Director Quinn shot that down pretty quick. The reasoning is the blue line represents police, but it is other groups that see it as offensive. To me, that's a lot of BS. I think the reason that it was turned down was a lot of BS also. The commissioners copped to, well, there could be some legal liability involved if we paint a blue line. You know, somebody crossing the street may trip over that blue line. I don't know what the legal liability possibly could be. You know, it is pretty much regular at St. Patrick's Day when we do have parades, and they will again happen as we get out of COVID-19. It apparently is okay to paint a green line on the street, which most municipalities do. Seaside Heights, the Ocean County Parade, there's a green line down the boulevard. You know, it's okay to paint bike lanes on the sides of the road. That seems to be okay. There are some communities that painted huge letters in the street. That seems to be okay. But if you want to paint a blue line, no. Like that commercial with Matumbo. No, me. You can do that. That is a lot of BS. Well, somebody took it upon themselves on Hooper Avenue to paint their own blue line in front of the county complex on Hooper. And I don't know how nobody noticed this guy doing it. You know, pretty busy street, Hooper, no matter what time of the day or night it is. But they managed to paint and did a pretty damn good job of painting a blue line. Of course, the next day, to everyone's astonishment, and by the way, there's no truth to the rumor that Mikey Mastronardi there painted that blue line. But they do know who did it now. They obviously spoke to the perpetrator with the blue spray can. I don't believe there'll be any arrests coming forward. It's a lot of worse things you can do than paint the blue line here. What is amazing to me is how fast the County of Ocean sprung into action. We've got to get rid of that blue line. Get it up. They did that without even doing an RFP. Normally, the County of Ocean, they write a check with your taxpayer dollars. Get some bids on that to remove that blue line. County workers actually went out there and painted it out. Pretty quick. Like the next day. Can't get them to do a friggin' pothole the next day. But that blue line, an offensive blue line, get that off the street. Like I said before, there is nothing wrong with recognizing our local law enforcement. They are our first line of defense. They are the reason we have a quality of life. They are the reason we're able to sleep at night and not worry about being burglarized or being robbed or whatever the case is. Again, we are a nation of laws, and it's our local law enforcement whose job it is to enforce those laws, and they do a pretty good job. Probably could be a little more discretionary with speeding tickets on Route 37, but that's a whole other story. Like I said, I think we have probably the best law enforcement in the state of New Jersey. Toms River is right up there with Jersey City, and there is really no reason at all that you can't have a blue line in front of the county complex on Hooper Avenue. To deny that is just, being ridiculous. And the excuses were all BS also. All right, you're watching the Tom's River Show. I'll be right back.
Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to be prepared for your emergency.
We promise to provide world-class robotic surgical care.
We promise to treat you like family.
To provide accurate diagnostic care.
To provide the most innovative orthopedic care at your doorsteps.
We promise to treat your baby like our own.
To never stop investing in the best of spinal care.
To be with you every step of the way.
Here at Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to take care of our community.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintoproperties.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
We're back, Tom's River Show. Pat O'Melia here. You there? Nothing wrong with the blue line. Also, I like that Matumbo commercial where he's blocking everything. Somebody's throwing a piece of paper in the office waste paper basket. He blocks it. COVID-19. You know, we're a year out, and we're getting out from under the cloud of COVID-19, even though Jersey is leading the nation with the uptick in COVID cases and there's aggressive vaccination programs. There's super sites opening. You know, Tom's River and Ocean County have a few. Jersey City just opened the sixth one. The county has, Hudson County has a drive-through site. I'm Jersey City guy, so we're out there. We're getting the vaccines. We're getting it to as many people. I would like to get the J&J. Actually, I'm trying to hold out for the J&J, but eventually I got to get the shot. But I'm looking forward to getting the J&J, not the two. For that matter, one of our guys today, one of our lead editors, went and got his vaccination out in Bergen County. He got the Moderna, so he's got to go back, I think he said, on April the 30th. Right now, we're waiting to see what kind of side effects he has. We're a year out, and there are numerous losses to COVID, of course, being the first, the loss of life. The second one is probably the loss of education. As much as everybody tried with the remote learning, that was not really a replacement for in-class learning. The remote learning just didn't work, in my opinion, for elementary kids, high school, maybe the high schools. I think it works with the college kids, but I don't know about elementary and high school. These are kids that are easily distracted, and there's really no replacing in class where you're in school for 5 hours a day. How do you make up that lost year? And really it is a lost year that could possibly follow these kids throughout their future. I mentioned this yesterday on the city show that we do in Jersey City about summer school. Now, I had not heard of anything up until yesterday about possible having summer school classes. When I brought it up on the city show, and like 2 hours later, you started getting tweets from Hudson County that they were thinking about summer classes. I think that is a possibility, some sort of a hybrid school semester, where we can go from, say, April, because the kids are pretty much immune to the COVID-19. And I think it was today, Pfizer said children 12 to 16, 100% effective at the vaccine. I don't know if I want to give it to a kid, but that's up between you and your medical physician. Once we get all the school teachers vaccinated, and in Jersey City, Mayor Fulop is making a full press on that to get them all vaccinated, you can probably have summer school between April and August. And it's a shame that we're going to take away a summer from the kids, but we wouldn't want to take away a year of education from the kids. When we look back, and this is going to be studied for a long time, the pandemic, we're going to have to figure out, and we will, ascertain the damages from the year or so and going forward. And believe me, there's going to be collateral damage going forward from COVID-19. Number one was the loss of life. The second thing we're going to have to study is how we handled the pandemic. We didn't have a playbook for that. It was everything we did statewide and federally was reactionary. But it is astonishing that we came up in the vaccine in less than a year to combat this, where normally it takes like 8 to 16 years to come up with a vaccine. Job losses, believe me, there's going to be a lot of job losses, and they're going to start happening now. When the COVID moratoriums and the state of emergency expire, things are going to get really shaky. When there's no PPP money and businesses don't come back, there's going to be problems. You're going to have job losses. Businesses will have learned how to work remotely and how to do as much with less personnel. So you're going to see a lot of changes. Governmental debt, I'm not the one who's going to pay it. I got like another 10 good years maybe in me, maybe 15. But these trillions of dollars we're spending, somebody's got to pay it back, and it's going to be my kids and the young people that work for me. We need to make sure that PPE is manufactured locally so we're not dependent on China. We shouldn't be dependent on China for anything. That should be Biden's main job. Get all that manufacturing, everything back from the ventilators to the masks to the vaccines to antibiotics back here in the United States. Losing a year with the kids, hopefully that's not the case. Maybe we can do something summer school-wise. I'm starting to see it. Yeah, maybe I was just a day ahead of everybody else, but now you're starting to see a lot of the municipalities and the counties talking about doing a summer school program. Yeah, like I said, you hate to take a summer away from the kids, but if we can get them back in class and maybe pick up that lost year, it's to the benefit of everyone. All right, you're watching the Tom Rivers Show. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
We're back. I'm pressing my timer. Maybe we need a new battery in here. There we go. Maybe I need a new battery. We got to time our segments. 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Shop, buy, and dine locally. Everybody says shop and dine locally. Now, don't just shop. Buy locally. Now, I've been trying to patronize as many businesses as I can, whether in Jersey City or in Toms River. And when I'm in the Toms River, when we're down here working in the studio here, I'm working at the kids' house. For that matter, I just put a picnic table together for my daughter's house for the Airbnb and summer rentals down here. I didn't get enough wood. I got to build a love seat and a chair. I miscalculated my wood. I've been patronizing Toms River businesses down here with auto repair in this case. Normally, I try to do whatever auto repair is needed on my cars. Anything I can't do, I normally bring it to Mario at Goyaya Auto Repair in Jersey City on Central and Jefferson. I've been doing my repair work for years. But when I'm down in Seaside, and I've been telling people, it's Route 37, let's promote Route 37. Let's try to grow a business there. We have a good year with Seaside Heights tourism-wise. It's going to be a good year for the businesses on Route 37. For that matter, I had spoken to Mayor Hill a couple of times on that. He had not gotten back to me. We should be promoting those businesses. So I've been patronizing the repair shops on Route 37. Recently, I've been at Coast Transmission with Aldo there. For that matter, we're going to show a little bit of Aldo. At the end of the show, he was very generous with a car for a friend of his who was a dentist. We'll show you that at the end. I needed a starter installed on my Jeep. The starter really didn't give me much warning that it was going, but it went, and we had to get AAA. If you do not have AAA, you're kidding yourself. Get the AAA and get the 200 miles tow. I think it's like $50 a year for a car. I have a few cars, and I got my kids' cars covered on mine. That's why I pay a little bit more than that. They towed it over to Aldo there at Coast Transmission on Route 37. Aldo put the starter in, and you had to have somebody do it. You can't do this unless you have a lift, because the Jeep is four-wheel drive, and right there was the drive shaft for the front-wheel drive by the transfer box. So you had to have a lift to do that. I had a hole in my muffler. Yes, this is on my Jeep again, by the way. Had a hole in the muffler, and you got Midas on Route 37. So I went to Midas twice to drop the car off, and the guys were like super busy. You got, I think it's 5 bays, and I think they had 2 techs working. You know, they got to start building up their business again from the COVID. Finally, the third time was the charm. We dropped the car off. They put a new muffler on, a tailpipe, and a resonator. And it came out to like $500, and it's right in the ballpark. See, one of the problems businesses have, auto repair, is you and I can easily go on Rock Auto. And I usually supply my own parts when I get my cars done. I make sure when I'm putting a part on my car, it is the best possible part I can get. No knockoff parts, nothing from China. I want real good parts. If you're working on your Ford, you want to try to get Motorcraft at least. Working on Jeep, you want the Mopar. You want OEM or better parts on your car. Best way you can assure that is to supply your own. For that matter, I should bring this up again with some of our state senators, where we can make it allowable that you supply your parts to auto repair centers, because they should be making their money on labor, and they're marking up these parts 30%. The problem is I don't know what parts they're using, so that's why you should be allowed to supply your own. So Midas did a good job. They turned the car around quick. The $500 was right in there because I just checked it out on Rock Auto. They're in the business of making a profit. They did it quickly. A good job. Then I have a problem with my ignition. It just started, and over the course of a week, it really developed into a huge problem. We have to turn it like 4 or 5 times to get it to kick. And there's a switch inside. Actually, it's the same ignition switch as a PT Cruiser. It's a little plastic little deal in there because everything's plastic now. But it's something I probably could have done myself if I had the right tools, but they have like security tools. You just can't have a full-up screwdriver there. If you had a full-up screwdriver, anybody can take your column apart and steal your car. So they have certain tools. So my car right now is at Lester Glenn Jeep on Route 37. I hope this is a good experience. Because I do a lot of advocacy and consumers, and I kind of know how long this job is going to take, and I know the price of the part. So we'll see how this goes. Plus, this weekend, we bought a refrigerator at Tom Phillips Appliance in Tom's River from my kid's house across the way from my studio for the summer rentals. And this beautiful haircut you see is courtesy of Leo's on Route 37 in Tom's River. So I've been doing a lot of patronizing of the businesses on Route 37, and I ask you to do the same here in Tom's River. Again, shop, buy, and dine local. All right, we're going to break the commercial. You watching the Tom's River Show? I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers the quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just 1 path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport. Live like you want.
We're back. Tom's River Show. Pat O'Melia here. You there? Remember, shop, buy, and dine on Route 37 in Tom's River. Quick hits. Lori Ulrich, your councilwoman here in Tom's River, has elected not to run for re-election. She did a good job with Tom's River. She played both sides of the aisle with the Republicans and the Democrats, and her goal was to move Tom's River forward. I think she did a good job on that. I'm sad that she will not be running because she was really dedicated to it. But she gave a lot of good reasons. Time constraints, future plans. She wants to further her education. Didn't help with the threatening letters she received. And I'm sure just the actual politics and the social media pressure was another factor in her deciding that I don't really want to be a Tom's River council person anymore. Actually, I was thinking about it as I'm sitting down. I'm not sure if the Democrats have announced a slate yet. We know Mo Hill will have a slate out there with the new Republican club, and I'm sure George Gilmore is going to do something there. It's a matter of time. COVID-19 losses, insurance losses. Yeah, again, we're going to study COVID-19 going forward and the impact it's had on businesses and, of course, lives and everything going forward. RWJ Barnabas and Downs Ford of Toms River has sued their insurance companies, and Downs Ford already lost. Oddly enough, in those insurance policies that probably nobody reads because they're normally 80 pages of very small print, had a virus exclusion clause in the Ford Downs. So they have to pay for any of the losses, where Downs Ford thought for sure they were covered, and the same thing with RWJ. They're going to be suing for the tune of $2.5 billion in losses they suffered. And now, oh, by the way, Easter egg hunt this week in Seaside Heights, Saturday and Sunday, from 12 to 5 p.m. It's a little different. You're going to use your cell phone. Yeah, you'll see a little RO scan code, and you're going to run around with your cell phone scanning that code, and you'll win pizza and beach prizes and all that. Check the exit82.com website. And now, I mentioned this before, Coast Transmission, my buddy Aldo there, gave a friend of his a car. Let's see that car, Mike. A 1967 Mustang. He gave it to him. This gentleman is a dentist that Aldo's known a long time, whose father had recently passed away, and as a child, the father and the son worked on a 1967 Mustang, very similar to this. And they had purchased the Mustang for Aldo to restore, and that's what he does down there at Coast Transmission, restoration work. When you ride by, you see all the old cars out there. And the car that they got was a rust bucket. And Aldo really likes this guy, and he had this Mustang, so they did a little additional work. You've seen that plaque dedicated to his father. And Aldo there from Coast Transmission gifted it to him. This was just about around the Christmas holidays. We finally finished the footage. Aldo had to come in and give the final okays. He gave that car to this guy who is a retired dentist. He knew nothing about this. He thought he was coming in to get the bad news on the 67 Mustang that he brought down to Aldo to get restored, and that wasn't the case. Aldo already had a real nice one for him. This guy was basically in tears when Aldo said, "This is your car," because the guy's like, you come around with it, and nobody's ever surprised me with a nice car like this. So you come around, the guy's like, "Whoa, look at this car. Well, who's bringing this in?" And then, he's looking at it, goes, "Oh, it's a great car. I love the color on this." And then he noticed the plaque on the glove compartment of the car, and it was dedicated to his father, an officer and a gentleman. His father obviously was in the military, and this guy started to lose it there. But, it shows you, again, Route 37 business, Coast Transmission. He's done work on my Lincoln, my Eldorado. He did the transmission on that. He put the starter in my Jeep. He works on today's cars, but everybody brings him the old cars. For that matter, I'm going to bring my Dodge over. I got a 1964 Dodge, and it's got what we call a typewriter transmission, push-button transmission, and there's a problem with the reverse and the drive buttons. So I got to bring that over to him, and he says he can rebuild that. And anything that's antique, that's what Aldo does. So if you need a car, you got an antique that you need some restoration work. Also, Al, all the shops I dealt with my Dodge, we put an electronic ignition in my 64 Dodge. Nobody knew you had to change the gap on the spark plugs to make that work right. Aldo did. So if you need a good guy to do restoration work or just all-around repair work, Coast Transmission in Toms River, I am out of show. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you during the week. Good night.